I don't know if there was any progress on any of that stuff. I'm just trying to think about the backyard while having other irons cooking in the fire. If you want to get that money, if we want to get those creative finance deals and be a buyer and build up the war chest, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
start taking some of that uncomfortable action over there.
I'm the paperwork guy and trying to keep all these contracts and everything, the LLCs and everything we just got, keep them working right and get that all set up and get the banking deal right. And we haven't even got, I don't even have the email that I need for that relay banking thing.
Hmm.
And trying to get all that sorted out and get our accounts set up and everything. So that's what we're at right now.
The LLC stuff, all the bank, all that stuff, we could be doing that, off hours or a little at a time. It should only take a little bit per day, right? Because there's only so many
Yeah.
those executives don't, oh, the relay doesn't respond right away. It's 24 hours. And, after it's all set up, you're hitting the ground running. But we should already be
Yeah,
running because really, until we're cashing checks, we don't need a bank account. So,
exactly. Right.
if say you had a wholesale transaction or you saved that woman's house down the street and you sold it to someone else or whatever, there's a window there that you can do all these things in. So what I don't want you to do is, again, we have this creative avoidance, and sometimes we're doing things that we think is money making activities, but always try to ask yourself, is this a money making activity?
Exactly. Yeah. And
You
that
know?
here's where I'm at, Justin. I don't know enough
Yeah.
to know, okay, now I got this contract. Now what do I do with it?
Well, we got to get someone to raise their hand first. So
Yeah.
before we even worry about that, and that's sometimes what we think is like, well, I need to know all the steps in the process. It's like, no, not really. Because if you get someone to raise your hand, you have, and that's why you paid to be in a different category. You paid to skip the line, where it's you have to go take the action, go get someone to raise their hand. Then you have a phone to friend. You have a bunch of phone a friends, and you go, all right, it's real
Well,
deal here.
how do I find out the hand raiser?
That's what I mean. That's knowing the backyard. Like that woman, there was a ripe opportunity potentially to go just even if you guys left a post-it note on her door. But if we don't take those actions, you're never going to get to where you need to get to. So it's getting uncomfortable and going to find any and all opportunities. Like my wife the other day, let me give you an example. There's a farmhouse that's been, well, I'm pissed off now. It's gone. And this is our problem. This is where I failed. But I'll tell you what my wife ended up doing. So there's this farmhouse that was sitting vacant for a while, big barn, white, beautiful, old colonial 1800s farmhouse.
I love them
Sitting,
things.
sitting on, I couldn't even tell you how many acres, but I drove by it 4 times a week. And it's one of those things that it just hits you in the face. You don't really, you've seen it so many times, you don't even think about it. But every time I would drive by, and I would say, when I get home, I'm going to look up who owns it and I'm going to go call them, text them, email them. I know no one's there though. I never see a car. Well, by the time I left from that house to my house, I already forgot that I said to myself I would do that. Again, my problem. Should have wrote it down, should have made it more of a priority. But the other thing I want to say is my wife ended up driving by and we've talked about it. She's been in the car with me. We've talked, she understands what we do. She finally saw that someone was there one day. There was a car. And she called me. She goes, I just drove by the farmhouse. Someone's there. I'm turning around. I go, turn. Yes. Good girl. She went, stopped, had a conversation. The guy was lovely. He's like, Miss, I'm so sorry. I just sold it.
Oh man.
So too bad, so sad. My problem. Could have, would have, should have. But she took the action. She stopped and she asked them. And like we would have never known. But now they just tore it down. I'm pissed. They tore it down and built 5 houses.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, but the point of my story is that like she was taking the uncomfortable action of doing like stopping and just having a conversation. And most often people are just they're in front of you, they're great. On the phone, maybe they're a little bit different. But in front
Yeah.
of them, it's just and plus you're a local boy. They want you guys all stick together.
Yeah.
So if I call some city slicker calls and it's not the same response. So not going to find those pre-foreclosures or those tax delinquents or someone who's in trouble in town or local markets.
That's a question. The tax delinquent thing. What do we do I mean, how do you do that? I don't even understand what you do with it.
They're just asking people, are they selling your house? Do you ever think about selling your house? That's essentially the foundation of what we're after. And you're just looking for someone to go, well, yeah, I've been thinking about it. But the first step is just saying like in the avenue to get in front of these people are those lists and the lists that people build and the tax delinquents and the violations, you know, around here too, you have your grass is too tall or you're too many unregistered vehicles in your driveway or something. There's ordinances for that. So that becomes a violation. Well, why? Why do you have so many unregistered vehicles and boats and cars and shit boxes everywhere? It's usually there's an issue behind there, whether it's mental, and we're just there to sort it out. And you just literally you get it in front of them and say, "You ever think about selling your home?" "Yeah, I'm behind on my mortgage." "Oh, well, tell me more about that." "Well, I'm 20,000 behind." "Oh, okay. All right. Well, so lucky you, I do cash and I know creative finance. So if I can I ask you some questions? It might sound personal, but I'm here to help." And then that's it. Doors open, just talk to people. But we have to do that action. And like I said, whether it's just you guys sitting at night, money making activities can still go on. Whether it's you go online, you buy, Chinese freaking envelopes and some postcards for $5, and you get some stamps. That's the most expensive part. But those stamps are little soldiers. You write a little note to a pre-foreclosure person or a local from whatever list it is, and you put a stamp on that baby and it's sent out in the mail, and that's a soldier going out to war for you. And if it comes back from war, you're good. And that's really how I would try to dissect this. Let's get good lists. All those people get letters, and it doesn't have to be a long drawn out. It's, hey, this is Cliff, local here in Montana. Love to be of value. I buy and sell real estate. I'm not a real estate agent. And if there's anything I can ever do, my family and I are here. Let me know. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. And hope to hear from you. It can be that simple. Then they call your phone or they send you an email. But the action steps in that are getting out, getting in the car, going drive around, like that particular one. You're driving
Yeah.
around, building that organic list locally. They call it driving for dollars.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Well, I had another issue here last week. The plumbing froze up and everything. I don't know if I broke any ribs or not, but I've been suffering with that. So and it snowed here pretty heavy. So
Yeah,
this last few days is my big excuse, is trying to stay out of getting out of what you're trying to tell me to do.
I get it. Well, all right. So
No,
here, the cool thing
no,
is,
I'm just teasing you, but everything you're saying is you're right. I feel like you're my dad right now, and you're chewing me out, and I should be getting on it here. And
yeah.
I hear you.